Welcome back! Today we're recapping Arcane, the stunning League of Legends series where science meets magic, cities clash, and chaos reigns. Whether you're catching up or watching for the first time, here's everything that went down across both seasons, episode by episode. Let's jump in. So, we start off with a war. Piltover, the rich city, just crushed a rebellion from the Undercity, also known as Zaun. Two little girls, Vi and Powder, lose their parents in the chaos, but a guy named Vander takes them in. He used to be a big deal in the rebellion, but now runs a bar called The Last Drop and tries to keep peace between Piltover and Zaun. A few years later, Vi, Powder, and their crew, Clagor and Milo, break into a fancy apartment in Piltover. They're looking for loot and accidentally steal some magic-looking crystals. Powder drops one, causing a huge explosion. This draws the attention of a young Piltover scientist named Jace, who lives there. The kids barely make it back to Zaun, but now the enforcers are on their trail. Meanwhile, a shady guy named Silco, who has beef with Vander, is plotting something big from the shadows. Jace gets arrested because of the explosion and is put on trial by the Piltover Council. He insists that the crystals are part of his work to combine magic and science, what he calls Hextech, but the council isn't having it. They kick him out of the academy, but Victor, an assistant from the academy, offers to help him keep researching in secret. Back in Zaun, Vander is trying to protect the kids while keeping the peace with Piltover, but Silco's making moves, and he's got this scientist, Singed, who's working on a dangerous serum called Shimmer. It turns regular people into monsters. Silco tests it on one of his guys, and the results are nasty. Piltover's enforcers push Vander to give up the kids responsible for the explosion. He refuses. Silco sees an opportunity and kidnaps Vander with help from a huge thug juiced up on Shimmer. Vi, Milo, Clagor, and Powder plan a rescue. Vi leaves Powder behind, thinking it's too dangerous for her. They get to Vander, but Silco's men show up, and it all goes south. Powder, trying to help, sets off another explosion using one of the magic crystals. It destroys everything. Milo and Clagor die. Vander dies too after turning into a shimmered up beast to save the kids. Vi finds Powder and snaps at her for ruining everything. Powder breaks down, Silco shows up, and Vi gets taken by enforcers. Powder ends up going with Silco, who gives her a new name, Jinx. Time skip. Piltover is now booming thanks to Hextech. Jace and Victor have created powerful technology. Jace is made a council member and gives a big speech during Progress Day, a citywide celebration. Meanwhile, Jinx, now working for Silco, is causing chaos. She steals Hextech from a Piltover shipment, killing enforcers in the process. Vi is still missing. Caitlyn, an enforcer, starts investigating the attack and grows suspicious of her own superiors. Down in Zaun, Silco's grip is stronger than ever. The tension between the two cities is growing again. Caitlyn keeps digging and discovers that someone is protecting Jinx. She eventually tracks down Vi, who's been locked up since the explosion years ago. Caitlyn breaks her out, hoping Vi can help her get to the bottom of the chaos. Jinx is clearly unstable and obsessed with proving herself to Silco. She's also paranoid about Vi's return, fearing she's been replaced or abandoned. Tension starts brewing between her loyalty to Silco and her past with Vi. Jace starts pushing the council to get tougher on Zaun, while Victor's health is failing, and he becomes more obsessed with Hextech's potential to save lives. Vi and Caitlyn venture deeper into Zaun and witness how bad things have gotten under Silco's rule. They get attacked and have to fight their way out. Vi starts realizing just how far Powder, now Jinx, has fallen. Silco finds out that Vi is back and orders Jinx to capture her. Meanwhile, Victor experiments with Hextech on himself in hopes of curing his illness, which starts to change him physically. Jace is now practically a leader and is caught between politics and action. He starts leaning toward a more aggressive stance against Zaun. Vi and Caitlyn are captured by a gang called the Firelights, who turn out to be led by Echo, Vi's old friend. He's been fighting against Silco's rule and using his own tactics to protect people in Zaun. Vi and Echo team up and plan to bring evidence of Silco's crimes to Piltover. Caitlyn takes the Hextech crystal to the council. Meanwhile, Jinx is spiraling. She kidnaps Silco, thinking he betrayed her by keeping Vi a secret, and eventually captures Vi, Caitlyn, and Echo in a trap. Echo and Jinx fight in one of the most epic scenes of the show. Echo nearly wins, but Jinx detonates a bomb and both go down. Jinx is taken by Silco again. Jace makes a deal with Silco, peace in exchange for independence for Zaun, but Vi thinks that's a terrible idea and tries to convince Jace that Silco can't be trusted. Victor's experiments with Hextech get more dangerous, and he ends up accidentally killing his assistant Sky while trying to evolve his body. He's devastated, but still driven to unlock more of Hextech's power. Silco considers giving up Jinx to make the deal work, but he's torn. Jinx overhears this, and it shatters her. Jace and Vi attack a shimmer factory, and Jace ends up accidentally killing a child. This makes him rethink the warpath. The peace deal hangs in the balance. Finale time. Silco is captured by Jinx, who also kidnaps Vi and Caitlyn. In a twisted dinner setup, Jinx forces Vi to choose between her and Caitlyn. It's clear Jinx is completely broken and wants Vi to accept her as she is. Jinx ends up shooting Silco by accident and fully embraces her identity. She sits in the Jinx chair she made for herself and rejects being Powder. Meanwhile, Jace proposes giving Zaun independence at the Piltover Council. Just as the vote is about to go through, Jinx fires a Hextech-powered rocket straight at the council building. And that's how Season 1 ends, on a massive cliffhanger, with war on the horizon. But the story's far from over. Season 2 picks up right where it left off, and things only get more intense. If you're enjoying the recap, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more breakdowns like this. Let's keep going. Season 2 kicks off right after Jinx's rocket attack hits the Piltover Council chamber. The explosion leaves most council members dead or critically wounded. Jace survives with minor injuries, and Mel is injured but alive. Victor is found barely breathing and rushed to his lab. The city goes into emergency lockdown. Piltover is in shock, trying to reorganize leadership while mourning the loss of its ruling body. Meanwhile in Zaun, Silco is gone, and with him, any sense of order. Gangs start fighting for control. Savika tries to keep things stable, but without a clear leader, Zaun's falling apart fast. Jinx disappears after the explosion. Vi and Caitlyn return to Zaun to investigate and find Jinx, but all they find is chaos. The fallout continues. Jace is pressured into taking a hard stance on Zaun. He starts organizing military responses, blaming Zaun for the attack. Caitlyn pushes back, wanting to find Jinx first and avoid war. Meanwhile, Zaun's factions clash over who will lead. Savika gains power, but not everyone supports her. A gang war brews beneath the surface. Jinx resurfaces briefly, unstable and violent. She attacks a Piltover supply convoy, sending a message that Zaun won't be controlled. Vi and Caitlyn realize the situation is spiraling. They try to warn Jace, but he's too focused on retaliation. Tensions between Piltover and Zaun hit a breaking point. Vi tracks down old allies in Zaun to figure out what Jinx is planning. She finds out that Savika is trying to unite the gangs, but Jinx is sabotaging everything. Caitlyn returns to Piltover and discovers that some surviving council members are plotting to use Hextech weapons in Zaun. At the same time, Ambessa Medarda, Mel's mother, arrives in Piltover. She wants control over the Hextech arsenal and offers her military to help Piltover handle the Undercity. Jace, desperate for help, reluctantly agrees. Piltover starts gearing up for war. In Zaun, the gangs are armed and angry. A full-blown war is brewing. The fighting officially begins. Ambessa's forces team up with Piltover enforcers to raid parts of Zaun. They destroy labs, arrest key gang leaders, and leave parts of the city burning. In response, Savika rallies Zaunites to defend their home. Vi is caught in the middle, trying to stop the bloodshed. Jinx strikes again, blowing up a Hextech shipment. She leaves a calling card, Chaos and Flames. Caitlyn and Vi follow the trail, hoping to capture her before things get worse. They come face to face with Jinx, but fail to bring her in. Jinx escapes, and her mental state continues to deteriorate. Vi enters the brutal underground fight circuit to keep an eye on the gangs and protect civilians. She gains influence among Zaunites, but tensions are rising fast. Caitlyn uncovers that Ambessa is planning a full-scale invasion of Zaun using Hextech drones powered by Victor's research. Meanwhile, Victor, now heavily mutated from Hexcore experiments, isolates himself in his lab. He's slowly losing his humanity, but continues developing tech that could tip the war. Jace sees this and starts having second thoughts. Back in Zaun, Jinx's attacks are getting bolder. She hijacks a supply drop and spreads shimmer throughout the streets. The city is spiraling. A new threat emerges. Warwick, a terrifying shimmer-mutated creature, starts hunting people in Zaun. He attacks both gang members and enforcers. Rumors spread that he was once human, maybe someone connected to Vi and Vander. Vi and Caitlyn team up to track him down. They realize Warwick is Vander, resurrected through brutal experimentation. The revelation hits hard, but there's no time to process. Warwick is unstable and deadly, attacking anything in his path. Meanwhile, Victor's final transformation turns him into a being barely recognizable. His powers spike and he warns Jace that the technology can no longer be controlled. Jace begins pushing for peace, but Ambessa's invasion is already underway. Piltover troops march into Zaun with Hextech drones and Ambessa's army. The invasion is swift and brutal. Entire blocks are flattened. Vi rallies the Zaunites to fight back, while Caitlyn pleads with her mother to stop the massacre. Jinx stages a massive counterattack using explosives and shimmer. The battle is devastating on both sides. Warwick joins the chaos, slaughtering enemies indiscriminately. Vi finally confronts him and manages to calm him down briefly, enough for him to disappear into the shadows. Jace finally pulls the plug on Ambessa's operations, publicly denouncing her and calling for a ceasefire. But the damage is done. Zaun is in ruins. The season finale brings everything to a head. Jinx prepares for one final act of destruction. She builds a massive Hextech-powered weapon to take down Piltover's main power grid. Vi and Caitlyn race to stop her. At the same time, Victor tries to destroy the Hex Core, realizing it's too dangerous to exist. He sacrifices himself in a final blast that disables the core and wipes out most of his lab. Vi confronts Jinx in the ruins of their childhood home. They fight brutally. In the end, Jinx chooses not to fire the weapon, but the damage to her mind and body is done. She collapses, wounded and broken. The season ends with Piltover and Zaun calling a tense truce. Both cities are in ruins, licking their wounds. Peace seems possible, but no one trusts it will last. And that's the full story, so far. But with peace hanging by a thread and enemies still lurking in the shadows, was Jinx ever really the villain, or just a product of everything that came before?